Well, my name is Tom Casper. I live at 3725 Graceland Road. I've lived in Duluth the past 18 years. I have lived my life in Duluth, raised my children in Duluth, and want to stay in Duluth. I want them, and I want all of the children of Duluth today and tomorrow to get the best education that we can give them. And I think the way, from my perspective, to do that is to offer them as much as we can. Whether it's core classes or extracurriculars or opportunities to excel, whether it's post-secondary, things that help them along in college, things that we can do to help our kids today and our kids of tomorrow to be the best that they can be, to be productive parts of our community, to be productive parts of the community worldwide. And it's a huge responsibility as a school board member. If I were fortunate enough to be elected, I would take that responsibility very seriously. I would work as hard as I could. I would study as a publicly educated child, a publicly educated college student. I would spend a lot of time studying and looking for ways to improve our kids' opportunities. I would spend as much time as I've spent the last month going through the long-range facilities plan, 1,600 pages. And I'm reading about 50 to 60 pages a night, doing the best I can to understand it. And there are things, and I've said it publicly and I'll say it today, there are things that I agree with in the plan. But there are also things that I don't agree with. And as your school board representative, I would work towards making a better product for all of our kids. Thank you.
I'd like to thank you for inviting us here tonight. It's been a pleasure to be able to speak to a group of people. I have enjoyed working as a school board member. I think I have done the very best I could do for education and for children, which is what it's all about. If elected again, I would certainly continue to advocate for all levels of learning for every child so that each and every one of them feel successful. And I would also make sure that we continue to move forward as a community. I think what's been important is that we have listened, we have made adjustments, and I think once the long-range plan is completed, I think we'll all find that education is what it is all about, and that's where the important discussions continue to take place. Thank you.
I'm a long-term teacher who got elected to the board many years ago because I brought forth an educational voice. I won't change that voice. Every time I make a vote, it's because of kids and what that vote means for children. And I think that's overriding to everything I am. There's been a lot of discussion tonight about the red plan, but I will challenge you to understand Plan B. There's a huge difference between the red plan and Plan B. And I'm just going to use one. You heard me talking about middle level education, those 6th, 7th, and 8th graders who are hormonally driven. They're a very special group to me. I cut my teeth teaching them. They're great kids, and I loved it. But if you read Plan B in depth, you'll find out there won't be middle schools. Instead, we will have 7, 12 high schools. There's a huge difference tonight at what's at stake here. That's just one of the differences. And as Tom has talked about reading plans, I will challenge you to read Plan B. You need to understand what's in Plan B as well as what's in the red plan. And so tonight when you leave here, if you do that or ask questions, that would be great. To be opposed to the red plan is one thing. But not to have another plan that is better is even more frightening, because where are we going? We need a plan. It may not be perfect, but it is a plan. And it's one I think you can approve of. I think if you study Plan B one more time, I think you'll be upset. Thank you.
going to go back to my last statement that I goofed on, is to teach a child to fish. You can teach, he will have something to eat. What I have seen over the last year and a half attending school board meetings has not pleased me. There are aspects of the Red Plan that are great, but then there are aspects of it that are not. As a wife, a mother, elected official, grandmother, business owner, now in education, both of adults, by the way, and children in the soil and water. Education is the key for everything. If the kids don't have, students don't have a good education, they cannot be productive citizens. If Joe Nathan has any credibility, then what he had to say is disturbing. When you send our children to college and they're not prepared, there is something missing, something in this puzzle that is not quite right. I would endeavor to allow our students to have the best education that we can afford to give them and reasonably costly to the taxpayers. Let's face it, who's paying for this? Do we want to put people out of their homes and businesses out of the city? Who's going to fund all these dream plans? I have not read the Red Plan in its entirety, and I have not read the B Plan in its entirety. It's a lot of reading, but I am studying through it. So, yes, I suggest if any of you want to spend some time reading something, read both of them. Make up your own minds what is the truth and what isn't the truth. Thank you for having us here this evening.